What is up, everyone, and all of those of you who walk among the fence? I've had a lot of questions recently of what my favorite Coheed and Cambria records are out of those that I've had a chance to do videos on. Now, I've done videos and actually been able to truly listen to, experience, and enjoy the first 5 records. And I think that it's going to surprise you a little bit in some ways. I think some of you it's not going to surprise at all. Others of you, I think it might. So, I got to be honest, it's tough. It's certainly tough to place all of them. The top 2, honestly, it's really easy. Surprisingly easy for me to figure out which 2 records I listen to the most, and I just really enjoy and resonate with me in the way that they do. Even the third one's really easy because I go back to it a lot. The 4th and 5th, it's hard because they're both great records, but at the same time, I've got to place them somewhere, and I don't go back to them as much as I go back to the others. So it really is placement as to which records I listen to the most. And the records that I truly find myself going back to throughout the week, throughout the day, and what I reach for when I want my Coheed fix. So, as you can see with the thumbnail image there, the very first, my favorite record so far is Good Apollo 1. It's catchy, man. It's just such an incredibly catchy record. It's just loaded with that beautiful 70s prog influenced gloriousness. It has the best mix that I personally believe I've heard on a Coheed record. It has some fantastic riffs, absolutely stellar drumming, bass playing, and vocals. And I think so far, I know I haven't had a chance to hear the last couple of records, the last 4 records? But so far, it is the best performance that I have heard from Josh on a record. And I really do feel like he just fits the band better than any other drummer I've heard. And I have heard the Taylor Hawkins time on with Coheed for their studio record for No Woe for Tomorrow. And of course, I have heard Rainbow as well. So I have heard all 3 drummers, and I do just feel that Josh does an absolutely incredible job, and he fits the band better than anybody else. There's so many earworms on this record. It's just amazing, and I keep going back to it. I get lost in the opening lines to Welcome Home. It's something I just dive right into, and I'm so happy to listen to it. And from there, I almost struggle to pull myself out of the record and possibly go listen to something else. There's so many great tracks on it, but the way that album's paced, from Welcome Home to 10 Speed to Crossing, I don't want to skip anything. When I do, though, I'll start with Welcome Home. If I want something softer, I'm going to Wake Up. Absolutely adore the Suffering. The Willing Well series, I just have to listen to in their entirety. I just can't skip it. I'd be angry at myself if I did. My favorite one out of them, though, I do have to say, is probably The Telling Truth. and From Fear Through the Eyes of Madness. But they're all four of them are just utterly amazing, and they blow me away. So before I get a full review, that's a nice quick little down and dirty. The second record, the record that I find myself going back to, and I find myself going when I start listening to Coheed and I've got time, I'll go from Good Apollo 1 and I'll go to this. And I think it's because I love the contrast and I just love how different it is. There's some darker elements on Good Apollo 1, but the change in the shift from that going into Year of the Black Rainbow, that jarring change from happy Coheed to dark, gritty, slightly more industrial and electronic, slightly more technical as far as the drum patterns and some of that stuff goes. Angry, nasty, full of dark emotions and depression and pain, Coheed. Man, it's an incredible feeling. There's points where I'll bounce from either the Willing Well or even Welcome Home or from Wake Up, and I'll run into Guns of Summer or The Broken or We Are Juggernaut, or I'll jump from Wake Up into the pain of and beauty of Pearl of the Stars. I don't know what it is. I know so many of you think it's the worst album. Man, I love this record. I really, really, really enjoy it. I love that darkness. The production is tough at points, and it certainly isn't as good as some of their other records. Chris Penny does, I feel like, overplay on some tracks. Maybe that's simply because he's not Josh, and we're so used to the way Josh plays. I don't know what it is. By taking it on its own, it's great. Taking it next to Get Apollo 1 and just the very different vocals, the darker riffs, the darker, more aggressive Atticus Ross mix and production, it feels like two sides of a coin, or yin and yang if you want to go that way. And I love it. I just absolutely adore bouncing from Good Apollo to Black Rainbow. And I find myself doing it more and more and more. And it's incredible. It's just, if I have the time, I'm going out on a walk, I'm taking the dogs out, something like that, and I've got music on because I always do, I'm listening to it. And I'm typically bouncing right back and forth between those two. The third record is In Keeping Silent Secrets. Or correction, In Keeping Secrets of Silent Earth. IKS3 for short here. It's a great record. It's a really good record. And quite honestly, before I heard Black Rainbow, that was my number 2. But since I've gotten Black Rainbow and I've listened to it, and I've done my initial content on it, so now I can constantly listen to it more. I looked at the plays on my phone, and I'm already eclipsing what I've listened to with IKS3. And I'm surprised. I really am. The last two are hard. I like a lot of things about Second Stage Turbine Blade, and I've listened to it more because I've had it longer. But I also really enjoy a lot of the more like 80s metal feelings of No World for Tomorrow. So that one's honestly a toss-up. And I don't want to say one is worse than the other. I don't really feel like they are. But I do feel like I reach for one over the other more. And because I do have that love for 80s metal, I'll reach for No World for Tomorrow. But then I'll go right back to Second Stage because there's just some amazing stuff on that. So that's tough, man. I'm fighting through, trying to figure out which one of those two I prefer more. And I'm just going to put them side by side because truly I don't know. And maybe in a year, I'll revisit the band. Certainly I'll revisit the list once I've gotten through the entire catalog, which absolutely will be done by the end of the year. At least the initial listens will. But I'm sure things will change on some of those fronts. I'm sure other records will come in and that might change my view. Will it knock Get Apollo 1 out of the top spot? I don't know. Will it knock the absolutely utterly surprising Black Rainbow out of number 2? I don't know. I'm going to be really curious, and I think it's going to be an absolute heck of a ride to take with all of you. And I know the questions are going to come, so I'm going to answer it. When's the next one coming? Will it be shorter? Well, the answer is yes, it's going to be shorter. I don't want to put a time frame up because I don't want to sit there and say it and not get to it like I did with Black Rainbow. I want to make sure that I truly meet the deadline that I'm setting for myself. I just don't want to say it out loud and suddenly I'm not hitting it. But, and the subscriber will remain nameless. However, I was gifted some iTunes love, and I have purchased the next couple of records thanks to that incredibly wonderful person and the incredibly heartfelt message in the context of why. And I want to thank you so much for doing that. I'm still blown away and I'm honored. And it may not be, it didn't happen on Patreon. However, I'm going to treat it like it did because I can't not reward that. I'm utterly blown away by it. So I'm going to do it sooner than later, and I'm going to count at least one of those. I'm going to count one of those records as an October request. So I'm going to try to get it done by the end of October, if not very early into November. So it's going to be a lot quicker than a month than the last record was, because that was an incredible gift, very rewarding gift. I actually had to take Afterman off my phone because I didn't want to put it on shuffle and suddenly have those tracks pop up and hear them before it's time. Now, because I have so many of you here, I'm going to put a poll up, probably do a little video and just put a poll up to see what you guys think. Or I might just put it in the corner here, figure out how to do it. But I want to know, should I just gut it out and do the entire thing as a whole? It's going to be long. It looks like it's going to be like 90 minutes worth of music. Or do I do it one after the other? I'm going to be honest. I'm kind of leaning towards breaking it up. And the reason is a Coheed record is amazing to me. It's an incredibly emotional experience, and far more emotional than I expected. And by the time I'm done with a Coheed record, I'm exhausted. I'm worn out. Emotionally, I'm worn out. Mentally, because I've put so much into trying to catch all the little things going on. I put a lot of effort into that to try to really hear it and really focus on that, all the while trying to articulate that and comment on it for you guys because I know you enjoy it. And that can be really tough. It's a challenge every single time. And I am wiped out every single video I do when I do a full record because there's just so much in the emotional content and the lyrics and the product as a whole just floors me. So it's going to be tough. It's going to be one that's going to be a little harder to do if I do it all at once. It's going to be easier if I break it up. I was able to find the full record, both records in one package on iTunes with a ton of additional like live tracks and whatnot. And I was blown away by that they had it together cheaper than it was to pick up both records individually. So I'm not going to go into all the lives. I mean, let me look at this real quick on iTunes just because I'm curious. But looking at the Afterman Deluxe version here, there's 29 tracks. It's 18 tracks for the two records, and then it's live versions of T's My Favorite, Pretty Lethal, Century of the Defiant, Hollywood the Cracked, Goodnight Fair Lady, Iron Fist, Vic the Butcher, Evagaria the Faithful, The Afterman, Dark Side of Me, and Domino the Destitute. So that would be hours if I did it all at once. It's going to be hours regardless. And I love you guys. I just don't know if I could handle that. So, but I really want to know your opinions because if it does wind up being more that want me to just do it together, I will do my best and I will try to not be wiped out. I might have like 3 pots of coffee hanging out on the side of me here and just do my best. But either way, doing these have been so amazing and I've loved it and I love sharing this with you and I love all the comments and just how much you guys have enjoyed this, and it's completely far and away exceeded my expectations. So let me know about that. Let me know what you think about where I stand so far with with the records I'm listening to the most and did it surprise you that my two favorites right now are going to follow one, which probably isn't a surprise to anybody, and Black Rainbow. What are your favorites out of the first 5? I know it's like, dude, you're hamstringing us. There's 4 more records, but I've only heard 5. But either way, top total or first 5. What are your favorites? Let me know. Thank you guys. Hope you enjoyed this. Fun doing it for you. I love you. Thanks all of you so much for the support. Thank you to my law enforcement, military veterans, and first responders for what you guys do every single day. As always, you have been awesome. I have been Baldman. I'll see you in the next one. Be excellent to each other and keep headbanging.